And we are live. So hey everyone, I'm here with my friend Sean. I thought it would be a really cool idea to start a live YouTube hangout with Sean because I know he's the man behind a lot of great bodies.
Yeah.
Great bodies, Evan Carmichael's included, and Nina's included. And I thought it would be a really good way to give you some exposure and ask you some really important questions that people have been asking. So we're going to get started on that. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm excited. I have a lot of fitness questions, and I think
Okay.
one of them is actually mine.
One of them is yours, you said?
One of them's mine.
Okay.
I think I wrote the wrong name down, but it's mine. Okay.
Okay.
So the first question is, I'm not a morning person, but if I put off working out until the end of the day, I won't do it. How can I get my workout in? Patricia wants to know.
Okay, well, we get that a lot here as well. It's like a lot of people don't like to work out in the morning. Some people don't like to work out in the evening, and it becomes a real battle as to where do I work out. What I suggest is pick the time that you are most likely to work out, even if your workout's going to be horrible. It's better than doing nothing, because when people try and fit their workouts in at the optimal times when they actually feel like going or something like that, it never works out. You end up missing more workouts than you do going to them. And the most important part of achieving a fitness goal or any goal, I think, is to show up, even if it's not going to be your best workout. You hate mornings, you're not a morning person. It's better that you show up every morning because you can, because that time is available to you, rather than trying to show up 3 times a week in the evenings when realistically you're not even going to show up once.
So how do people know that? Like, how do I find out when is my optimal time of working out?
Like, depending on your body or depending on your schedule?
I guess both. Like, so for Patricia, she says, I guess Patricia has a mindset thinking that she has to wake up in the morning to work out. But you're saying that it's not the case. So how do people find out, like, when is an optimal time for them?
I would say, like I said, like, decide how many times you want to work out, depending on your goal, whatever it is. There's going to be a certain amount of times that you need to work out to achieve your goal, right? And then look at your schedule and say, okay, what are the times that I know that I can go? Not maybe I can go. What are the times that this is the greatest chance that I'm actually going to go? And then you have to show up at those times, even if they're horrible, even if it's 6 o'clock in the morning or if it's 10 p.m. at night, you have to show up. And only by showing up at those times will you kind of figure out what days are best for you. Because we have a lot of people that, because of work scheduling, they weren't morning people. And just given the way that our class schedule is, the only times that they were able to come are 6 a.m. in the morning, right? And they never worked out in the morning before, and they're really hesitant to do it. But after the first week or so, it becomes a routine, and then it isn't so bad anymore. But if they were to be stopped by the idea of, I'm not a morning person, there's no other possible time that I can work out, because I don't want to work in the morning, then they're not actually going to get anything done. It takes a while for you to get acclimated to it, but you have to do it first and then figure it out.
Yeah, that's so true. I think as soon as we put ourselves in a box saying that I'm not this, we immediately give ourselves an excuse to not do something.
Yeah.
So if you say, I'm not a morning person, or, you know, in the business world, people are like, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. Immediately you give yourself a label. That's when you're not going to go out there and do something. So it's a great point that you bring. Just show up. That's what I did when I, okay, full disclosure here. I don't like working out, and that's the truth. I don't. That's why I dance, right? But when I started working out, I found it was the most effective when I work out in the morning, because I just had to get it out. I woke up very early. I woke up around 5. I would go to my class around 6, 6 a.m., which was close to where I lived. And I got my workout in and I felt amazing for the rest of the day. You take your shower, you go work, and you feel great, and it's out of the way.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I'm a morning person either, but you have to work with what your schedule is. And as soon as you label yourself, that's when things are not going to happen. Good. I like it. Okay, next question for Sean. Okay, this is a good one. Do you have any exercises I could do at my desk to burn some extra calories without bothering my coworkers? Kathy wants to know.
So given that you're seated, there's not much that you can do at your desk. What I do recommend, what I recommend to some people is you can buy like a exercise band. It looks like a big rubber band.
Okay.
And it'll cost you like less than $10, like $7-8. But it's a resistance band, and there's a bunch of different exercises that you can do with the resistance band without even getting up from your chair. The one exercise that I always recommend for people to do is called a band pull apart. So basically, if you can imagine you holding a big rubber band sideways, you're just going to grab the ends with your arms locked out, and you're just going to pull it apart until the band touches your chest, just like that.
Okay.
Close, right? So it will burn some extra calories. It's better than doing nothing, but more importantly, I think it's a postural exercise. So we're always sitting and shoulders hunched forward, and if you're at your desk, that's probably what you're doing.
I'm adjusting myself now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
My shoulders are swinging across. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So just doing something to get out of this posture all the time. Yes, you will burn calories. You might put on a little bit of muscle in your upper back, but it will correct your posture, and that does a lot for burning calories throughout the whole day. Because if your body's not structured properly, most people have a lot of developments like being on the phone, being on computers. Everyone is like, their posture is bad, so their movement is bad. And if you think of not using enough energy, so when your movement is not working properly, like the alignment of a car, you don't use as much energy as you could have, right? You're increasing the chances of injury, but you're decreasing your performance as a machine that your body is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, how I know with technology and everything, we're all getting a little bit hunched over. Have you seen a lot of issues with people's bodies because of that? You're a young guy, so it's not like you're 85 years old and you have seen the evolution of different people. But just from your own background, like, have you seen that people are having a lot of issues with their shoulders, with their hands?
Oh yeah, like everyone. Pretty much, I would say everyone that comes in has issues with their shoulders and issues with their their low back, hip area.
Low back, hip area. And that's from doing what?
Sitting. Sitting. Everyone sits for long periods of time. Just computers or TV. Everyone sits like on the bus and stuff. And we end up doing a lot more sitting than we do standing and walking, and actually using like our core to stabilize our hips and stuff. So with all the sitting, we get not only the hunched over position, but we get like our abs or our core doesn't do the job that it's supposed to, because now the chair's doing the job. So it can just relax. And that's where all the back pain comes from, because now your back is doing the work that your core is supposed to do, stabilizing your spine. So it turns on and it gets really tense, and that's what everyone thinks is back pain, where it's actually your core is really weak from sitting all the time.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. See, I didn't even think about that. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot from our call. So would you suggest that I used a medicinal ball once at work, and the reason why I said once is because I kept on rolling all over my office. And
Oh, like one of those stability
yeah, the
ball
stability
things.
balls. I tried it. I tried it once because I was like, I'm just gonna get some core workout in while I'm sitting at work, and it didn't really work out for me because I kept on rolling around the place. And I think it's also a fear of judgment, right? Like my
Yeah.
coworkers looking at me sitting on a stability ball and not a regular chair. So I
Mhm.
think for Kathy over here, I think her concern is like she's gonna bother her coworkers, or it's
Mhm.
like it's a fear of judgment. Like, what do you have to say about that? Like when people are doing their exercises and they're afraid that people are going to judge them for whatever reason.
Okay. I would say if you're making the decision to do exercises at your desk, or eat, like it even goes into like eating differently. People who bring their own lunch,
Mm.
everyone else is kind of buying food from the nearest takeout place. So you're the outsider,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you're always the weird person who brings their own lunch or does the exercises at the desk. It's because you've chosen to achieve a certain goal, right? Like you've chosen to be different. So I think you shouldn't worry too much about what other people say because they've chosen to be like who they want to be. They don't have the goals that you do. So if they're your goals and you actually want to achieve them, you should accept like what has to be done and be proud of what you're doing because it's more than other people are doing.
Yeah, I think yeah, and that goes for anything. In my situation, I'm not in fitness, but I'm in personal development. So originally, when I first started in my personal development path, it kind of took people off surprise because it didn't seem like that's something I would have done. And I've talked a lot about this in my other interviews as well. Who I am today is very different from who I used to be because I started putting on all these different kinds of masks and these different personas who I thought I should be, which
Mm-hmm.
wasn't who I truly was. And then finally I started showing who I truly was. A lot of people like, you have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we can't hang out anymore because you don't like the same things as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And without going into too much detail, but a lot of people say they think I'm a completely different person. But the reality is I'm still the same person. Now I'm just showing more of myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was painful. It was actually really hurtful when that happened to me because of the judgment from people who I cared about. Like a lot of these were my friends.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think it's also on me because I didn't really communicate to them. Like, this is the reason why I'm doing this. This is the reason why it's important. The reason why I was like that before is because I was trying to be someone who I'm not. And I think I could have handled it a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
in retrospect. Now I'm a little bit different. I communicate everything that I'm doing. If I'm doing something different, I always tell them the reason why. And I think that kind of goes back to the fitness thing too. A lot of people taking the first step in saying, I want to live a healthier lifestyle. I want to lose weight. Some people want to lose like 100 pounds, which is a huge, huge thing. And the fear of judgment comes in the way. Your friends might be like, oh, you don't come to Taco Bell with me anymore. Like, what's happening? And then that's where a lot of things happen. Uh, which brings me to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you find a supportive group around you when you feel like you're living such a different lifestyle, whether if it's like a fitness lifestyle, personal development lifestyle? How do you find a good supportive group around you?
Okay. I think it starts with doing what you need to do or what you want to do. A lot of people, like you said, they kind of filter themselves out. I don't want to hang out with you because like you don't come out to eat as often anymore. And if that's the case, like that's fine, but that person isn't if that person's not supportive of your goal, then maybe they don't belong in your immediate social circle, in your support group. I wouldn't look to that person for support if they're thinking more of like, how come you don't do this with me anymore, rather than how can I support you with what you're doing? Like maybe we go out to eat and we pick places that you can find what you want to eat or what you need to eat, like healthy food. There's going to be, I think right off the bat, a lot of people eliminate themselves from
Mhm.
that. So it becomes a little bit easier. And then from there, it's like there's only going to be so many people that support what you're doing. Not everyone. Maybe some people will half support you, right? And it doesn't mean you throw them away. It means that the people that you keep closest to you or maybe spend the most time with are the ones that support what you're doing, even if it's not actively supporting, but they don't take away from what you're doing. They don't put like obstructions in your way, like asking you to go out and drink all the time if like that's not your goal, you want to stick to your diet. So I think a lot of people eliminate themselves automatically just by you sticking to what you know you have to do. If you waver and kind of like, maybe I'll half do this and half do that, it allows a lot of people to stay in there, and then you never kind of achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, no, it's true. Have you experienced something similar to that in your life?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think anyone who has a fitness goal or a business goal, there's always going to be, when you decide that you have a goal, you have to eliminate a lot of stuff, and you have to make the decision to do a lot of things. And there's going to be a lot of people who, like you said, question you as to why you're doing what you're doing. Because in the beginning, when you're not there yet and you're just doing the activities, people are like, oh, what do you think you're a bodybuilder by like eating all this food? When you like visibly you're not. I can tell that you're not, but like, why are you doing all this? It's because you want to get there, and these are the things that you have to get there. So I don't have to look like one in order for me to start doing the actions needed to get me there. The only way I'm going to get there is by doing those things.
Yeah.
So for me personally, yeah, there's like, I think in the fitness industry, it's mostly a social thing, because mostly it's related around food. And for the people who are very, very serious about their training, they have to eliminate a lot of social events, and they have to prioritize the gym over going out to movies, or prioritize the gym over going to a friend's house. And yeah, there is, like, I have experienced some of that where I do have to make sacrifices, but if it's your goal, then it should be worth it to you to do that.
Yeah, I think with anything, mindset is extremely important. Extremely important. You mentioned bodybuilding. Are you doing bodybuilding right now? I'm curious.
Not really. I'm doing powerlifting, which is a little bit different. Lifting heavy weights.
Okay, so tell me about that. How do you go? Okay, well, I have gone to the gym and I could lift like, I think the heaviest I have squatted was maybe 80 pounds.
Okay.
Which is good, I think. Okay, so how do you get up to that? Like, I started off with like 2.5 pounds. Okay, just letting everyone know, and then slowly I kind of built up to it, and I took classes. For people who want to get into lifting, because lifting, I believe in lifting. I think lifting is really important, especially for women. Women are, I mean, not especially for women. What I'm trying to say is, like, there's this misconception about women lifting that needs to we need to shine some light on. How do you start lifting properly?
If you're a super, super beginner, obviously I recommend getting a coach or getting someone to oversee your programming and your training, someone that knows what they're doing, because it does save you a lot of time and a lot of energy. And as we know, in fitness, motivation is a huge thing, and it's very easy for people to get unmotivated or lose motivation like right off the bat. It's one of the biggest things. So starting with someone that knows what they're doing will save you a lot of grief, because at least you can put your trust in someone else that they know what they're doing, and the results will come faster. Because if you try to do it yourself and maybe you don't know what to do, all you're going to see is that you're putting in a lot of effort. Maybe the effort is not directed in the right place, but you're going to see that, like, you go to the gym 4 times a week. It takes you this many hours out of your day. It takes, like, you're not eating the foods that you want. You're not going out with your friends, but maybe because the results aren't fast enough, because you're not doing the right things, it's going to feel like you failed. or that, and that's
Mm.
like derail your progress, right? Whereas if you find someone that knows what they're doing, they can help you right from the beginning and get more results with less effort on your part. Um, if you're starting, let's say, with a coach or by yourself, my recommendation is to not start too fast. And I think that's where a lot of people get kind of mixed up, is when you start too fast. Again, it derails your progress. The body only can progress so fast. And I think a lot of marketing these days makes it seem like anything is possible in 4 weeks. Whereas the people, in my experience, from my clients, the people who do the best are the ones that are not rushing to get to a super close deadline. They just come into the gym day in, day out. They check off the boxes that they need to check off. They do their diet day in, day out, but they're not rushing to get to a super close deadline. So not rushing or not taking it too fast is really big for starting out.
Mm. Actually, that's you sort of answered the next question. So the last question is, I get super motivated when I start and I see results in the beginning of a new routine, but I lose motivation as time goes on. How can I keep myself motivated? So it's similar to what you just talked about.
Yeah, it's about not starting too fast and keeping yourself motivated. What I do personally when I lose my motivation for whatever goal I'm chasing, I'll kind of sit and think about what it would be like to not achieve the goal ever.
Oh, okay.
Right? Am I okay with it? Like if a year from now I still haven't got there, would I be okay with it? Most of the times, if it's a serious goal, you won't be okay with it. And a lot of times, like, you can't be super motivated all the time. It just doesn't happen. Like, you have to grind. You have to grind through it. So in those times, is your goal still your goal? Is it still important to you? If it is, then you're going to do what's necessary to be done. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think for this person, I think it was Mike who asked that question, is first ask yourself if the goal is even that important to you. I think, is it a big enough if it's a big enough goal for you? I think some people would say, I want to work out because I want to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's a really good thing. But it's not important enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I ask them, like, why do you want to be healthy? And they're like, well, I want to be healthy enough so I could throw a football around with my son when I'm 50 years old. And then it's like, okay, now things are changing a little bit more. And then what's going to happen if you're not able to do that? Well, I won't be a good father, or whatever the case might be. Now it becomes extremely important. I think a lot of people, when we have this, it's good to have a big, vague idea of what we want to do, but really make it important, like you were saying. And are you okay with it if you don't actually achieve it? What if you can't spend those quality time with your son because now you're not healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Or with your wife or whoever, right? Whatever you want to do. So I think that's what keeps people motivated. It keeps me motivated. I think to myself, like, am I okay with not doing certain things? Like, how am I going to feel a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Mm-hmm. And I make it 10 times worse, and it gets my ass off, and I do my work for sure.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's like finding, we call it finding the why behind why you're doing it. I want to lose 10 pounds. Why? And like, if you keep asking why, you're going to find the emotional reason behind it. And if that is important to you, then that usually gets a lot of people to keep doing what they're doing.
Nice. I like it. We're getting deep, Sean. Yeah. Cam, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I will anyway. What is your why? Why do you do the things that you do?
Specifically, like business stuff, or
in general? Like, why did you start this this fitness journey in the first place?
Mm-hmm. I think I want to make a difference. A lot of people say that, but I want to feel like I've made some sort of change in the world eventually.
Mhm.
And I haven't exactly found out how I'm going to do it. This is like a good start for me. I can try and change the lives of people in fitness, which is something that I'm passionate about. But in the future, I do want to make a difference somehow. I want to be like, for me personally, I want to be known for doing something important. So I think everything that I do relates back to that. Like if I'm doing my own fitness goals, which is powerlifting right now, I want to be remembered for breaking a record or achieving a certain level of strength that not many people achieve. And I think that's my why when I think back to why I do it. And if I lose motivation, that's what I think about. Would I be okay with not being one of those people? And most of the time, I wouldn't be okay with that. And like, would I be okay with getting to the end of my life and no one really knowing who I am? That's a huge thing for me because I want people to remember me for doing something, for helping someone, for helping people, for changing the way something is done. I think that's my main why.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think my why is also very similar. My one word is extraordinary. I always believe that we could always put a little bit more extra in our ordinary. And for me, I'm all about, I want to change the world too, but I need help. I need help from other people like you and everyone else who wants to change the world, because I really do think that it's not, for me, I don't think it's a one woman mission. I think we all need to get together and go on this mission together. And however I can help you or however you can help me, we could all do it together. And I think that's a great way to end today. It was really nice. Yeah. What's your why, guys? So for the people watching, what do you want them to feel after this call? Like, do you want them to know what their why is or what the motivation is?
I want them to think about it and actually figure. I think a lot of people don't know what their why is, and a lot of people just go through life doing random things. I want to be healthy. You don't know why. I want to have a job that earns this much money. Why? Right? Like I want to drive this car, buy this house, or I want to start a YouTube channel. Like, why do you want to start a YouTube channel? Like, a lot of people do a lot of things and they don't actually know what drives them. And that's why they lose motivation. Because when the easy stuff and the fun stuff ends in the beginning, when it's not so like exciting to think about and you actually have to put in the work, you have no idea why you're doing it. And I think if everyone thought about why they do stuff, what drives them, either as like a whole goal or for specific things, they'll have a source of motivation all the time. It's not motivation, it's just like your purpose.
Yeah.
Right? So finding your purpose for doing the things that you do.
I love it. I love it. So everybody, ask yourself the question, why more often? And we're back here again on Tuesday, same time, same place with Sean.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.